Hello folks, it's Dr. Rowe, hope you are well, and the subject of this live is, have you ever been, let me duck out and turn my phone onto mute, have you ever been rejected? There you go, it's sat behind me there. Have you ever been rejected? Now look, yes, you may have been rejected personally. If you're a bloke and you're over like 18, 19 years of age, you probably have had the long walk across a dance floor or a bar or a club, whatever, when you went to ask that lovely young lady for a dance or a drink, whatever, and then you got rejected and it felt like the long walk of shame all the way back. Yes, there is rejection in those areas as well. There's personal rejections. I want to talk specifically about rejections on a professional level. There's three things. So for example, maybe you're selling a product, a service, maybe you're in front of an audience and you're pitching. I've been in this business now as a speaker over 30 years, as many of you know, and I've actually been selling in terms of out services products, my products and services, as well as others that I've closely affiliated with for a long time. I think probably the first time was in my early 20s. That's like 32 years ago or something like that. Got involved with a network marketing business and I learned to deal with rejection very fast. And at that young age, it's very easy to be knocked back and be put off for life. But I read, I studied, I watched speakers, I took guidance, and I even had coaches back then, and read a lot about how to deal with this. So that's one of the things that over the years I continue to grow in. It's an area that I feel that I'm still growing in, actually, because rejection changes its context the bigger you grow as a person and the bigger your audience is and your stages. Bear in mind that sometimes I might be in front of thousands of people. So, potentially rejection from many thousand people. How do you deal with that? So on a professional level, the first thing I want to share with you is this. It doesn't matter if you're selling yourself, an idea, a product or service, trying to win an angel to give you money, or someone that you want to bring into your business or to support you or back you or joint venture with you, whatever it is. First thing is, you can't take it personally. When you are offering something to somebody, you're offering them a service or a product or an idea, a concept, whatever, 9 times out of 10, they're not rejecting you. What they're rejecting is what you're offering them. So, if these pair of glasses, I was selling you a pair of glasses and you said no, what people do is they take it personally. That's the number one, I think, the number one mistake that new people into the business of sales or any type of business where you're offering yourself or a service out to people, something else that you're offering, the glasses, they're rejecting the glasses, they're not rejecting you. Now I've been in in environments where I'm talking to network marketers, I'm talking to professional speakers, I'm talking to professional property investors that want to work with angels, and it's always the same conversation. Often they go, yeah, I kind of felt like this and I felt like this and I felt like they didn't like me or they didn't like my personal style. And yes, all of those things above may be the case, but ultimately they're saying no to what you're offering. So that's the first thing. You've got to de-emotionalize, you've got to remove yourself, you've got to separate yourself from the experience such that you then break it down to, how can I improve this? On my 38 components that I teach in the CWI process, those of you that come onto the webinar or become part, join the online product that we have, one of the areas I actually cover is sales. Is a very specific part of the whole process of communication and connecting and influencing people as well. So that's number one. Don't take it personally. If you continue to take it personally, you don't really want to be in this field. You don't want to be promoting a service or something you're offering, because each time you take something personally, it changes the way you show up, it changes the way you present, it changes the way your energy comes across, and you will go into it almost feeling defensive. And I've seen that with so many people. So that's number one. Number two, as I've got on the screen here, is upskill. It's a chance to upskill. It's a chance to grow. And for me, that's how I chose to approach it. And even now at 54 years of age, when I'm out and I'm speaking, or if I'm doing something where we might be presenting a product, an idea or a service, recently we've gone online with our property education programs, for example, stuff like that, I'm having to learn on how to communicate the message differently. If I'm in front of an audience, I can get a feel for somebody, I can talk to them, I can get a sense of their energy and where their blocks are, and maybe something I said changed their an emotional. So in the three major areas of the communication system, if you've watched any of the videos, and if you haven't, go back and watch the one on clarity I just did recently, you'll see a diagram come up. In that diagram you'll see, I don't think I can reveal it. Actually, I might be able to get it up for you now, just one second, see if I can pull this up here, because I'm using some new software which is kind of clever. Yeah, there you go. Wow, look at that. Okay, so here, if you look at the screen for a minute while I'm talking, in the them section here, what we're having to do in here is to be observational by our nature. So if you see there, observe. I know you might not be able to see it, but in order to create that connection, we've got to observe people. We've got to be aware of that person and how they're reacting to me. Is it something I said about the product? Is it something I said about the service? Is it the way I explained it? Was it a word, a language, a sentence? Did I not use enough social proof? It could be any number of things. So don't be too upset. I'm going to take that off the screen for a minute. The first thing I'm asking is, what can I learn from this? And this is where we come to clarity in a minute. So start to think about where your gaps are. So on a communication level, where are your gaps? What do you need to upskill on? Maybe you didn't engage them enough. Maybe you didn't get enough of a connection. Maybe you didn't develop enough rapport. Maybe I have 4 specific communication styles, and that's different to 4 personality types, which is different to 4 archetypes. So there's 4 communication styles. What if you were using the wrong style to get the message across and they didn't relate to the style? Wasn't you, wasn't the product, but the style of delivery. Okay, so that's easy. Well, if Dr. O teach me how to do that, and I can tweak that. So there you go. So it's being aware of all these different things. So upskilling. What are the gaps and how do you need to upskill? I've always used it as an approach. You know what? I screwed up here, or didn't go as well as I wanted it to. Something happened there, so I need to upskill. What do I need to do? Learn, online program, book, audio, coach, mentor, whatever. That's number 2. Number 3 is clarity. It's a chance to get clarity. What was it about the presentation that you didn't like? That's one way to ask the question. So get clarity. Specifically, what is it that you don't want from this product? Or what is it? Could you be specific as to why you don't want to buy from me now? That's another great question. And they go, well, it's nothing to do with you. It's just that the way you've explained the product, my understanding is it's really for this type of person. So for example, classic example, communicating with impact. When we first launched it, initially what I realized very quickly was one of the areas of clarity that people didn't have is they thought, oh, if this is a communications program, it's only for speakers. No, we communicate at all levels. I'm communicating to you now. We had a load of people at my last event, and a lot of people coming through the online program now who are wanting to do social media work. So they wanted to learn how to grab people's attention, get the message right, get the impact right on a camera, on a video like this, on YouTube, on Facebook. So it's nothing to do with, oh, you have to be a professional speaker in public. Actually, everything we do is communication. We had couples that were saying, does this work in relationships? Yes, we had some amazing people reconnect as a result of the Communicating with Impact. So I had to clarify when people were saying, well, we're not sure it's for me. When I was doing my live promotions for this, face in front of the audience, people would come up and say, one lady came up and said, I've been through Tony Robbins, I've been through this trainer, I've done a load of their stuff. How is this any different? And I think she's a psychologist, and I remember making a promise. I said, look, I'll promise you, if you're not happy after day 1, I'll give you a full refund, but I know this is very different to everything else you've ever done. And from what you've told me, one of the areas you need to maybe work on is communication in relationships. And she went, actually, yes. So I said, look, come along. Massive transformation, in fact, to the point where she was in tears, and even recently got a big thank you from her when I saw her again, because of the fact that I clarified that early. Meant that she realized actually it was for her. So even on my own products and services, I have to learn from people's response and say, I didn't realize that. It's like when people come to a property training, actually it's not people, it's just for new people. No, I've had people come through those trainings that have had like 5, 10, 15, 20 million pounds worth of property. Right, okay. So sometimes it's just a chance to clarify. Then what you do is you go back through the cycle, clarify those objections, and that gets you closer to whether they're really going to buy from you or not. So that's it, 3 things. That's all I wanted to make a point of. Hopefully that was useful. Give me a thumbs up if it did. I'm just seeing somebody come up there. Hey, Helen. Yay. That's Helen Lodge. She's awesome. Go follow Helen online. Based up in Yorkshire. Great professional property investor. She runs a letting agency up there as well. She's used to rejection, but you know what? Helen's like, it's okay. I'm learning from that. 3 things. You can apply them. Property. You can even imply this if you're... we get people come through the trainings that like, let me go check with my mum or dad and see if they think I should do this. And I say, well, you can do, but what are they likely to say? They're probably going to say no. Yeah, because you haven't had the same learning experience, and they're going to reject you. And actually, you know what? At the end of the day, you've got to say to yourself, this is for me, and I don't mind if other people are going to reject my ideas, but I want to do this anyway. So hopefully that's useful. I shall see you. I'm actually online a little bit later on with Martin Roberts, so I've got to get ready. I'm in the office, and Helen and the rest of my team, I shall see you all this weekend. Take care, everybody. Bye.